Hey everybody, it's good to be back and making a video. I just came back from watching Kill Bill, The Whole Bloody Affair, and I had a blast, let me tell you. It's been a really great weekend. I've finally been able to rest, and I took a lot of stress out today, and I let out all my frustrations into this movie, so I figured I'd just come back home and talk about it for a little bit, and if you guys are still watching, I appreciate it. Press a like, subscribe, and all that stuff. And I'm gonna let you know this video is gonna be completely unedited because I just kind of want to talk to whoever want to listen to me talk about this movie. Now, Kill Bill, uh, originally it was released in two volumes back in the early 2000s. Um, yeah, I remember watching it as a kid on Stars. I think there was like this TV. I think it still exists, the Stars movie channel. Back in 2004, I was 12 years old, and I was watching it in this Mitsubishi projector that my family bought. Um, and I was watching it in my living room, and when I first watched it, it was just a weird movie because it was out of sequence. I haven't watched Pulp Fiction yet. I was only 12, and I mean, I've watched many violent movies as a kid, but really I haven't watched any of Quentin's movies at that point. Kill Bill was my first movie that I ever watched of his. It was the first time I ever experienced something like that, where it was kind of shot out of sequence and in the hopes to tell the story in a very enticing way. Like, I didn't really understand like like crafting a movie in that sense. I always just thought that movies were just a good time, and this was one of the first movies that I ever saw where I could totally tell that it was made in a different way. You know, a director who's really taking his time and putting his attention into this movie. And as a kid, I didn't know who the fuck Sony Chiba was. I didn't know any of the references in this movie, and I just found it weird. Like, the music choices were really weird. I remember the song from the 5 6 7 8s. The ooh, 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 that was in a singular commercial, like a cell phone commercial back in 2003. And when I heard that in the movie, I was like, "What the fuck? This is a movie from that commercial. Like, why is it in this fucking movie? It's so weird." But it was so cool because everything just meshed in well together. It was like really fucking cool. But as a kid, I didn't like blow the movie off or anything. I just like found it extremely weird and slightly intimidating because it was just filled with so many references, and there were just so many things I didn't understand. But obviously, growing up, I've watched all of Quentin's movies at this point, and I kind of understand like where he's coming from in a way. Like, as a film fan himself, he's like fucking really, really painstakingly fucking referenced films like ever since he was a little boy. If you ever read his book, I think it's called Cinema Speculation, and he kind of gives you an insight on how he saw movies, how he sees movies today, and how he saw movies as a child. And you could totally take that, from any of the movies that you watch of his. Like, he takes references from so many movies, like Kiss Me Deadly, fucking all the kung fu flicks from Kill Bill. Like, he takes from the Five Deadly Venoms, obviously. Like, he takes from the best kung fu films that you can ever think of. Like, he'll take right from that shit. And from westerns, when it comes to the character Bill, the titular character that's got to get killed, he's like a really cool Western type guy. But I always loved the formation of American culture and different cultures in the film. I love the fact that the foreign characters in the movie, they don't all speak English. They speak their native tongue. And it really fucking annoys me when I watch a movie based on Germany and all the characters are speaking English, because it is an American production. I really prefer a movie that's set in the place where they're speaking that language. I feel like it's more authentic that way. And Quentin has never backed out from that type of approach when it comes to his movies. Like, you look at Inglourious Basterds and this one, Kill Bill, every single one of his characters are always really fleshed out. And yeah, I've always loved Quentin's movies, regardless. Even like when I was in the theater, I was hearing audiences talk about Paul Dano and all that stuff, or Dano, I don't know how you pronounce it, because Quentin has just talked in the podcast about how he thinks he sucks and all that stuff, or whatever. I don't know what the fuck. I read the article, I just like didn't give a shit, like, because that's his opinion, no matter how crass it is. Like that's how he feels, and if he's willing to take the blowback from what he's fucking saying, then all power to him. What I think about the movie all these years now, I'm gonna be real with you, like watching the first few minutes, like where the bride kills Copperhead, I thought that it was cool. Like, it was like, all right, yeah, I've watched these parts before, but once the animated sequence comes in and they start talking about Lucy Liu's character, I started tearing up because I forgot how much I liked the movie, like, and how it hit me when I was first, like, when I was a little kid, because it was weird. Like I said, it's like it's a movie, and it's like kind of out of sequence. It goes chapter 1, 2. I'm like, what the fuck is this? And then it goes and it's an anime now, and I just forgot how much I kind of loved that about the movie, how unpredictable it was on which direction it was going with the story. And like, it hit me again, like how when I was a 12-year old, and I kind of started tearing up because, like, I always get very emotional when I notice that a creative is really caring for their craft, and they're doing it for us, the audience. And it's something that I highly appreciate. Like, I know every director, or I like to think that every director really puts a lot of care into their craft. Obviously, that's why I love movies. Like, no matter which direction you're coming from, but movies like the ones that Quentin Tarantino makes, there is a special care for detail in his films. And like, me just being there as an audience member and experiencing that again, even after 20 years, it still chokes me up. And it even choked me up more after that sequence when she goes to Okinawa to talk to Sony Chiba's character, Hattori Hanzo. I like just realized, like, damn, yo, Sony Chiba just died a couple years ago, and like, this is a performance that, we won't be able to witness again. We'd be able to enjoy it from the past films he's made, Samurai Resurrection and the Street Fighter movies and all that other shit. But like I really did look at it in a different lens, like as a grown up now, and understanding the references now and all that. It was just a really, really great experience. Like, that first half, I'm not gonna lie to you, I was choked up the entire time because just how really carefully, meticulously the action scenes were just made. And also, it being the whole bloody affair, it's a longer cut, so they add more detail into the gore, into some of the dialogue as well. Like, there's just little finite little details that were taken away from the original cut, but they put into this cut, and it doesn't ruin it at all. Like, I'll give you an example where a cut is not good, like an extended cut is not good. American Gangster's extended cut sucks. I do not like it. That scene where Russell Crowe chases after this dude and punches a taxi cab driver to fucking get to his car, whatever the fuck, that shit was stupid. And the ending was shit. Like, the theatrical cut to American Gangster is much better. When it comes to this movie, I think this cut is better. And actually, to give you another perspective how I felt when I was a child watching Kill Bill, I felt like the movie wasn't done. And it was the first volume that I watched, volume 1. And then volume 2, like, they teased volume 2 after the first movie, and I was like, oh, okay, this makes sense. But it's like, I have to wait like another couple months for this movie to come out. It's kind of bullshit. But that kind of really wasn't the case because I watched the movie when it was in cable. So if I really wanted to watch it, I had to get the DVD, but I ain't had bread. I was only a kid. So I had to wait till it comes out in stars. And that was like not until 2005 that I watched the second volume. And the second half of the movie, which is volume 2, is not as good as the first. I would admit to that, but the sequence with Pai Mei, man, acted by Gordon Liu, like, that choked me up because, like, come on, like, just that character Pai Mei, like, he is such a miserable asshole. Like, in general, like how the movie explains him, like, he's just a cranky old dude, but like, he's not holding back with his training. Regardless of the fact that Uma Thurman is like a blonde American character, as the movie negatively portrays her, as reference to Michael Madsen's character, talking about her in that sense. Like, fucking Pai Mei treats her just like he would treat any of his students. And you can totally tell that some scenes, like, where you look at his face, you see that he sees potential, and I don't know if that was added in this cut, but like, I always knew that watching the movie, the first time. Like, I always loved that sequence because it was very synonymous to a lot of the kung fu flicks I watched as a kid. But really, I didn't watch as much as I've watched today. and it just gave me a whole more broader perspective on how well this movie's made, man. And even though I didn't like the second sequence as much as the first, it did not ruin anything or cause me to give it any type of criticism. I think now I can say, like when I was a kid saying that this movie wasn't finished, like it is complete and it is truly one of his best films. One of his highest, one of his best films ever, and like one of the best action movies I've ever seen. Like, especially with Volume 1 having that incredible action sequence, and this one having even a longer cut of the club fight scene where she's just tearing up a lot of the crazy 88s. It's awesome. It's a lot more gore, but it's not gratuitous. I don't feel like a lot of people would say that Quentin Tarantino's movies are extremely violent and gratuitous, and I would say so, yes, but it's not to a point where it's just absolutely ridiculous and takes you out. Like, it's just a good time. That's all it is. That's all it's meant to be. And like, I'm totally cool with that. And I could safely say that this is one of the best time that I've had this year in a theater, regardless of this movie being as old as it is, regardless of how many times I've seen it in the theater. I still found it to be an extremely good time. And any movie that's able to make me choke up the way it did, admittedly, it's because I haven't seen the movie in such a long time. I think it's been more than a decade at this point that I haven't watched it on Blu-ray. And I don't even own those movies on Blu-ray. Like, it was my friend, his wife wanted to play it at the time, and we like watched it and shit. That was a long time ago. But it was really good watching it this time in this light. And if they do a 4K release of the whole Bloody Affair, I'll definitely buy it. I know that there are some bootleg copies out that exist of the whole Bloody Affair, and they have existed throughout the years. But, you know, I always wanted to witness it in the theater, and I always felt like if I would ever have to do that, I would go all the way to LA and watch it at the New Beverly if I'd have to, or the Vista, whatever the fuck that place is called. Um, but yeah, this movie's perfect, man. I love this movie. It's always been a classic. I give it 10 bacon strips out of 10. You know, what you guys think of the movie? You guys can talk about it in the comments section if you want to, or y'all can message me or whatever. Follow my Letterboxd, you know, CBCN92. And you can look up the list of movies that I like and stuff like that. Or, you know, you can subscribe to this channel. You can follow me on Instagram. You can follow me on Facebook. And yeah, just tell me what you feel about stuff, and like, you know, if you have any passions for anything, if you have any ideas of what you want me to talk about, so we can have like somewhat of like an external discussion about filmmaking or any type of aspects of filmmaking or any movies, like just let me know, man. I'm right here. You know what I mean? I love you guys. All right, y'all have a good night.